right. Okay, so essentially looking at this, let me get this a little better. All right, so what is it is asking us to do is to solve for the missing view. So we're going to if we're following the format that we've been doing, which is kind of a standard format, that's the top, this is the front, and this is the side view. All right, so this one is a little tricky. I'm going to do one, and there are a couple different ways you can do this. So let me give you an example. I should have printed out the answer guide because this gets really complicated. So let me zoom into this one, number one. And so we're doing orthographic 6. We're going to do this exercise. So let's look at this top one. All right. So the challenge is how do you figure out what's here? And so the first thing that you would do is kind of understand, and we've been doing this all along. You count 3, 4, 5, 6. So this from the side view is 6. So we know that it's going to encompass this height, right? So we know that. So if, for example, we're doing, we know that this is from the front view or the elevation view. We know that's how the height of it is, right? So, and then the top view, we know that this is the width. So it's going to encompass this area. So it's got this 6 by 6 area there. So we know that just from looking at it. Excuse my messy handwriting. All right, so we're going to solve for the front view. So I know that looking over there, that is a hidden line. And so that means that there's something going on that I don't know of. Let me give you a couple of examples of what we could be looking at. Okay, so here is an example. So remember when we go back to the faces, right? And so this line, there is, from the top view, I know that there is a solid break here. Somewhere along here is a solid break. And I know that there's a hidden line here. So for example, this, let me see, am I doing that right? So this would be a solution, all right? And what I've done here, and I'll show you why, I'll darken these in. And there's a couple. You don't have to do all of them, of course, you couldn't, but I just want to show you a solution here. All right, and so if you're looking from this view, this is a hidden view here. So the top view, what we're seeing is that, and the hidden view over here is this line right here. All right, so that's what that means. I'm going to do a few more, and I'm going to then have you do. I'll do half of them, and I'll have you do the other half on your own. But what I'd like to do is have somebody come up with an alternative view of this for me, if you could. All right. Oh, I got 2 people coming in.
It could be a slanted line, couldn't it, as well?
So Joe, why don't you go ahead and draw it on? Yeah. So all right, let's. A couple different ways. It might be easier if you just told me what you mean by that. So if we can do this, when you say a slanted line, what would that look like?
So that top left point of that upper, right there, basically.
Yeah.
There we are. And then a straight line from there to the bottom, well, mid left, I suppose, if that makes sense.
There.
Mid left
Okay.
of the, no,
So,
the one up, right there, yes.
Right, so
from there to the top.
I'm going to draw, why don't I do this as a reference here? I'm going to draw this. This was a solution. And then Joe thinks that this is a solution. Is that right? Is that what you meant?
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right. Does anybody want to dispute that and kick Joe out of the class? Because we can, Joe. I have the control here. I can just be like, boop, you're gone. So yes, I think that is accurate, because this one, it's this intersection, And then you've got this dotted line. Part of the reason why I like this exercise, because on one hand, you might be like, why are you showing us something where there's multiple solutions? And the answer is that we are transitioning to what we're calling, these are orthographic views. We're transitioning, as you know, to the isometric, which is that 3D model. And so a lot of people are always, well, why do one or the other? And so in situations like this, you really need the 3D view to really understand what is it that you're making. So that is another solution. Can anybody think of another solution possibly?
Can it be rounded?
Can it be rounded? That's a really good question. Can it be rounded? You mean like that?
Yeah, like that.
I guess it could. It could be rounded, couldn't it? So, here's the thing. That's a really good question, and I don't want to sound ill-informed, but sometimes when you have rounded objects in the way that this textbook does it, it won't show that break line. It just is a smooth, and there's no real angle there. So it can sometimes. I need to be better informed on that. As your teacher, I should know that for sure. Very good question. So the question is, can it be rounded? I don't know. How can I not know? I guess sometimes you see that intersection defined, and sometimes you don't. Because I'd like to say no, but I don't want to say no because it wouldn't make sense to me that it couldn't. So normally I would say no. Whose question was that?
It was mine.
And you are, I'm not seeing
Ryan.
Ryan. So Ryan, typically I would say no to that, but at the same time, there could be a reason why you would. So let me just put that on a hold. All right. So any other suggestions possibly on this one? All right. Let me show you another one. And by the way, when I first started doing this a couple years ago, I only had one. I had like an answer guide, and then students are like, Smith, what about this? And I'm like, well, let me see. So let me show you another one that the students came up with.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Could the inverse of the curved line be also a hidden line?
So give me an example of that.
It's
The
basically
curve? Yeah, the
of the
curve
curve
line?
inside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you were saying the curve like that?
Yes.
Now, you know what? That would definitely work. So that would definitely, this would definitely work. So if that would work, you would assume the other one would work too. But yes, that would work too. All right. Very good. So any of these that you draw, and I'll even give you points for this one. I know that your textbook doesn't show it quite often, and I don't really know why, to be honest with you. And then there's another solution here. Let me think about that. So this one would not work. Let me show you one that I thought for a while did, and then we realized it didn't, like a house. Anybody want to guess why this one doesn't work in this scenario?
The hidden line.
Yeah, it's the hidden line, right? Because this is definitely a solid line right there. And remember, from your face exercise, this is folding. So in this scenario, that would have to be a solid line. So that won't work. So boo. One scenario. Oh, I got. Yeah. So any other scenarios? Again, I wish I could say I thought of these all on my own. You guys have actually added 2 to my little box of cookies. So let me. Anybody want to guess another one before I move on? Before I reveal?
What about the one that you had before but reversed?
Which one?
Like that, but like instead of the gap being the left, the gap could be on the bottom right.
Okay, let's see what that is. If you give me more than 2, I'm gonna just probably quit. All right, so
So
the
like,
gap on the bottom right, like
yeah.
that.
yeah. Oh, yeah, sure.
What were you thinking? So the bottom right wouldn't work because that would be hidden. So
Oh,
you were
kind of
thinking,
like,
but what were you thinking?
I was thinking,
So this would not work because that would have to be a hidden line. Also, you'd have 2 hidden lines. Um,
that, but the other, like, kind of like this. Kind of.
okay, hold on. Hold on. Let me zoom in on that a little bit. So point to it. I'm sorry. I'm looking at your paper like that. No, that so I think you were saying something like this. There is one more. I know for sure, you guys. So you mean like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that wouldn't work because that would be a solid line right there.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. So it's tricky because remember you're looking at this from that view and you're looking down on it, right?
Well, does it specify which side though? Because it could just be a side view, right?
Well, it's the front view, right?
Oh, but the as for the side view, kitty corner to the top view, it doesn't specify right or left view.
Well, remember the face that we did? It
Oh, is that?
has to,
Oh, that's like the stand. Okay,
yeah,
I get what you mean. Okay, so
yeah.
it has to be the right view.
It has to be that view,
Okay,
right?
okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So let me show you one more before we move on. I do want to get to our little fun activity. Last one is that my students again figured out, and you guys have added actually 2 to this, is this. Kind of like an M. You guys see that? So that's another one. So the reason why I'm showing you all these is um, just that the notion that you can tell just from the elevation views what your object is going to look like is a little it's a little ambiguous, right? That's why we are transitioning towards what we're calling the isometric view, which is that 3D view. It's very helpful to do that. It's just a little harder to comprehend. Okay, so I'm going to move on. So I will accept any of those. I'll even accept your little curves because I don't have a definitive answer. I would say yes, but this one I know that your book quite often doesn't show that curve, that break there. It's like a smooth transition. So I need to really figure out what the definitive answer is. Okay, let's look at this one. This one's a little tricky. So I want you to imagine this one stumps everybody. And I want you to go ahead and try it. And I'm gonna get back to it, but I want you guys to try to figure out number 3, and then I will do the reveal. All right, so go ahead and try number 3, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just do number 5 for you guys real quick, just so you have a reference. But I want you, while I'm completing 5 for you, I want you guys to try 3 because it is a little tricky. The only clue that I can give you is the Caldecott Tunnel. There, that's my clue. All right. So that is my clue. And I will go ahead and try this one. You know, I have to be honest with you. I used to do this with a answer guide, but it's no fun. It's not a lot of fun for me. So when I do this, I will do it right, but it takes me a little bit of scratching my head like you guys are doing because it's not, even though I've done these before, it gets a little tricky. So I'm going to start on number 5, and you guys, I want you to do number 3, and then we'll kind of compare notes on this. So I'm going to do 5, and when I'm doing this one, let me get this in the picture. What I'm doing is before I do anything, I'm kind of defining the overall shape, just making sure I understand where it's situated, and then I'll go try to figure out the hidden lines and the slopes So it fits in this here. Right, so there's a hidden line here. And I would imagine that is this cutout right there. And there is a line there, so it starts here. Did I do it right? I think I did it right. Well, that's a cutout there. Okay, so somebody, I want you to Joe, why don't you look over my shoulder? I probably did this wrong. Maybe I did it wrong on purpose. Let's go with that. So would you guys help me and tell me if I've done this right or if I've done this wrong?
I think you did it right.
Think I did it right? I think I did too. So this flat area right here, all right, let's see. Can I focus this anymore? This flat area here is that. That's that flat area. You wouldn't see that from the top. It looks like this slope angle right here starts here and goes up all the way to the top. So you would certainly see this slope going up, and this point and this point are the same. So that's there. But then it's showing this cutout in the middle. There's a cutout. And so if I look over here, the cutout must be, this must be that point right there. I think I'm right, and it's horizontal, it goes all the way through, so I wouldn't see anything in the back side. All right, Joe, you want to show us your screen? Do you want anybody think they got number 3 for extra points today?
I got it, I think. Although
You think
I
you
could
got
look
it?
at maybe.
I got it too.
Okay, who's that? Andre?
Yep.
Okay.
Who said it first?
Andre, Joe likes to hog the stage,
Oh yeah.
so I'm going to give you the opportunity. So let me stop my share and let's take a look at yours.
Okay. Give me a moment.
All right, Michael. So is there well, let's see. I guess what am I thinking? You're just going to have to put it up hold it up in front of everybody. Okay. Andre, can you do that?
How do I share my my video?
So, I was thinking, why don't you just hold it up literally in front of the camera?
Oh, that's easier.
Yeah, I was thinking you were, yeah, we wouldn't be able to do it. So, okay, so hold it up for us.
This video.
Oh, wait, who's doing
Did
that?
it wrong.
Andre,
Yep.
literally just hold it up with like on a piece of paper like that. Okay?
See it?
Yeah, no, let's, can you put it all the way to the camera? Keep coming, keep coming. Close, but no. Remember, what was my hint?
Tunnel, right?
Yes. So, you're close, but that's not it.
Okay.
Anybody else? Michael, you have Brandon, you want to try it? Let's take a look at it.
Not sure if this is right, but
I know. I appreciate all the efforts. This is a really hard one. You are 90% there. 99, like you're missing one line. But that is, Brandon, that's very good.
oh, I think I know.
Andre, yours was very close. So,
My camera isn't working, but wouldn't you just take what Brandon had and bisect this tunnel? Like just two on either side so it lines up with the back edge?
I think that's what, if I understand what you mean by bisect, he just needs to show the back side.
Mm-hmm. Because it's like a slanted. And then would you show hidden lines to indicate
Yeah,
the
so
bit of the tunnel that you wouldn't be able to see?
Brandon, since I don't want to do the reveal, you want to show that again to everybody?
Oh, wait.
Michael, do you think you know what it is?
Wait, I think I got it.
Okay, my students in the past, Brandon, really struggled with this one. So I'm impressed that you were able to do this so quickly. That tells me, you guys, that Brandon is cheating. Close. You're super, super close, but you drew it in perspective. So
Oh, yeah, I did.
you're lucky that, because I was going to accuse you of cheating, but now that you showed me the wrong answer.
It should just be vertical, right?
Yeah, exactly. Who?
That's Ian.
Ian?
Yeah.
Ian, where's your camera?
It's not working. I have it on. If
Yeah.
I didn't have it on, you would just see my name on there. It's
Well,
just not showing me. I don't know why.
Okay. Dorina, do you think you know it? Do you think you have it?
No, I'm having a tough time.
Yeah, Brandon is super close. Haley, what do you think?
I don't know.
Okay, Joe? Can
I
the
think
cavalry come in?
I think I got you. Although I'm gonna look like a huge dumbass if I'm wrong, but
It's okay.
If that makes wait, is that am I? This
You
supposed
are super close, but you're
No.
upside down.
I'm upside down. Wait a minute. Wait. Or is that the camera or is that me? I can't really tell.
No, that's remember, the lines are hidden from the top view, and you're showing them essentially.
Oh my God. Oh wow. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, that's funny. Okay. Yeah. So I am a huge dumbass. Okay.
No. These are really hard. They're extremely hard. So, all right. So let me make an attempt at this thing. And again, my students always get mad at me because let me close this down. Some of them always say, "Well, just show us the answer," and then I struggle when I try to figure it out on my own. All right. So again, the class is not very fun for me if I just print out an answer guide. Okay. So what I know is that looking at that, those are hidden lines, right? So this object on top is by definition has to be solid from the top. So I'm going to draw the top of this, and because everything is hidden lines, that means there's no break in it, right? So that's the first clue.
Should we be seeing what you're drawing?
Maybe. All right. Oh, yeah. All right. JK. Okay, sorry. We're almost there. All right, so Jake, are you with us? I think Jake Ramirez has come into the class. All right, so now that Jake's here, we can begin our class. All right, so Amanda, can you see the screen all right? My screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, so thank you. So what I started saying here was the top view here, this is a hidden line. So I know that this surface has to be solid because there is essentially a hidden line. So this top surface here is going to be solid. So I'm going to just define the overall shape, and then I'll probably have to erase it, but I know that whatever I'm going to do is situated within this area. So I'm drawing the front view. Okay. So then I know that there's a hidden line going from the front to the back. So I know that's there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this hidden line to the right, and this hidden line and just see where they meet up. So I'll come down to there and over to there. So that's where they meet up. So I know that whatever's starting here at this, whatever's going on is starting right here. And I know that's a hidden line and I don't see anything else. So the solution is essentially it's coming down. So remember my hint about the tunnel. So there's something happening here and then it goes across, but here it comes to this point. So that is going to there, and there's probably nothing underneath it, I know. All right, and then there is, it stops. So that would mean that there's a line coming down, but it continues all the way throughout. So then this line would come here, right? And I'll draw the hidden lines too, but that is essentially what you would see. So let me eliminate this line here. So that is the only opening. So you would see something that looks like this. Joe, does this make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so think of it as a tunnel in a building that you're kind of seeing at an angle. It's going back. All right, and then I'm going to draw the hidden line, what that would look like back there. So the hidden line will look something like that. All right, so let's see if I can draw this in 3D for you guys. I'm just going to draw a 3D view that is not in any sort of scale. And essentially it'd be going back like that. All right, so if that helps you. All right, so I'm going to leave this for you guys, and your job then is to finish these next 3, and that is going to be for your homework, okay? So,
I have a,
yes, please.
so on the first tunnel, all the way to the left, how do you know that there's a bottom portion to it? You have the,
Yeah, so right here, let me zoom in. These are really tricky ones. And so the reason why I know, for example, that line is there is because, let's just, for example, it takes up this mass here. There's this massive object. So I know that it goes 3 over in the front view. Just that this line right here is essentially this line here.
Okay,
Okay.
that makes sense.
But then because there's this dotted line, this whole area is actually open. So if I was driving my little truck, I could drive my little truck right through this whole area.
Professor, won't the bottom be joined to the side as well, though, in that gap, I suppose, because it's a contiguous, if you know what I mean, down at the very bottom there, not in the middle, but yeah.
So this
exactly.
is open.
Oh, that'll be open.
That's open right
there.
there.
No. Oh, yes. That'll be open. The thing to the right of it, though.
That's
yes.
closed.
Yes.
And then I drew a hidden line for back here. All right. So if I was going to take my hidden line off, it would look something like this. These are very tricky. All right. Joe, does that make sense?
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Okay, my camera froze. There you go. Okay, well, that's okay. So, but you see my
Are you
little
gonna
truck?
this?
Go ahead.
I asked if you were going to do a curved grading on this.
No, no way. All right. We'll see. You guys, I generally don't have to. You guys are all doing very well. So there's my little truck driving through the tunnel. So think of that as though there's a little angled tunnel and you're driving through it. All right. So you can go all the way through. Okay. So I'll leave this here for you guys. I will, that'll be in the recording so you can refer back to that. I will accept any of these that I showed you, including this curve. I love the bottom curve too. That's a new one for us. But I will leave these available to you guys. All right. So I think I can take a picture, snapshot. All right. So Jake, are you with us?
I'm here.
Okay, Jake. You doing okay today?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
All right, good. All right. So we are now going to move on. You're going to complete these other 3 on your own, and we are going to do this little project. So I think it's on Canvas, but essentially what we're going to do is you guys are all going to draw your utility knife. And so I'm going to give you a certain scale that I want you to do this in, but we're going to do a little twist on it. So we're going to draw this, and I want you to draw, we're going to follow this example. All right, I'm going to follow this example too. And Joe, is this in the Canvas? Have you looked?
It is, yes.
So let's do this example, and we're going to make this, let's see, how far we're going to make this. Let me just draw a little area here that I'm going to draw in. So I'm just giving myself an inch border. You never want to be all the way. Just giving myself some space here. So let me zoom out a little bit. All right, so I've got a little inch border here, and I'm going to draw. I'm going to do this drawing. I want to give myself enough room here. So the drawing then, let's make this. All right, so I want you guys to all try to do approximately the same scale. So I want you to make this object. Let me zoom in, and it's going to be 6 inches. All right. So I want this to be 6 inches. All right, so that's 6 inches. And I'll let you guys play around with a height. It doesn't have to be any certain thing, but I do want that to be 6 inches. So I'm going to do, this is a 2-phased activity. So I'm going to do both phases for you. First, I'm going to draw basically utility knife. Does anybody know why there's a little hook in this thing? Jake, you're an industrial designer. Do you know what they call that type of?
Isn't it for grip?
Yeah, but more than that.
Isn't it to tear things?
Well, no, not well, it's to cut things, but Jake, do you know what this is all called when you make, like they used to make tennis rackets like that with this little weird, the term is ergonomic, right? So it's ergonomics, you hear it in cars all the time. It's the relationship between machines and humans. And so that little curve is because your wrist bends, it actually is a lot more comfortable to use that. So it's important that you add that little hook. And so I'm going to go ahead and draw this fairly quickly. I'm going to do both exercises at once, and you're going to essentially do the same thing. So let me go ahead, and I'm just going to pencil this in 6 inches, and you guys don't have to be perfect either, all right? So if that's 6 inches, that's times 3, so that's about half an inch, so 1.5 inches, 2 inches, all right? So this is the space that I'm going to draw it in. And so that is 1 3/4 for me, and make sure that's 1 3/4 also. All right, so this is my area that I'm going to work in. And so I'm going to draw this just rather quickly here. So I want you to try to follow the this design. You can kind of come up with something similar, but let's see what I come up with. And I'll show you where this is all going. So then it comes up, and it comes down, comes up, down, pretty simple. And then there's the blade here that retracts and goes like that. All right, so that is right there, this first one. And then I'm going to give myself a couple inches over here, maybe 2 inches, and that'll be my front view. All right, so 2 inches, and it's probably about 1.5 inches. You guys can make this. Believe it or not, this isn't really what we're going to do, but I want you to have a sense of how to set this up. So let me just set this up properly, and then we'll let the magic happen. All right. And then I'll do my top view. So again, the top view is going to be, it has to be 6 inches across. I'm going to give myself a 2-inch gap here. And this will be my top view of the utility knife. And again, if you're a little confused, just refer to this little cheat sheet worksheet. You can kind of follow along here. So I'm going to make my top view here. And so remember, whatever width I do for the front, it's like a balloon. Whatever I say the front view is, it has to be the same width for the top view, right? So your head from the top, whatever width it is, it's got to be the same. So I'm going to make this. I've already decided it's 1.5 inches. So this has to be 1.5 inches. All right. And so I'm going to make this top of this utility knife. This has got a little ergonomic feature here. So try to make this, I need to find the center. Easiest way to find the center is to do something like this. That's where the center is. All right. All right, so that's the center. And again, if I make a 45-degree angle here, I can come straight down. Okay, so I'm going to draw this front view a little bit, the top view. Let's go ahead and make this. So there's a blade here, so I'm going to come up. This is where the blade is. And then there's this thing. And then if you look a little further, there's a little handle here. So I'm going to just draw a couple little details in here. And there's a little circle back here. I don't know, have you guys ever opened up one of these utility blades? Do you know what's inside?
More blades.
More blades. Yeah. All right. It just never ends. All right. So I'm kind of now, I might add this little feature here where there's a little grip handle and such, and maybe one on the bottom. All right. So the top view, and again, I'm doing this quicker than I would like you to do it, but I want to get to the real part of this exercise, which I haven't even gotten to yet. So really doing your best to make everything asymmetrical. Jake, have you done this activity with me before?
About 4 or 5 times.
We actually do this in Fusion 360. We build this. It's actually a fun little project. Jake's very good at Fusion 360. Okay. Jake, by the way, I want you to help me come up with a design challenge for my SOLIDWORKS class.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, because we want to use that CNC machine. Okay, so then the front view, so everybody's going to do the same thing. So then I'm going to have the blade in the front here, like so. Again, I haven't even started the real project here. Okay, so the front blade is like there. And then it's got this little gripper here. All right, so that's kind of, I really roughed it in. Okay, so everybody stop and look here. All right, everybody take a look at your instructor. All right, so everybody say hi to your instructor. It's really important that you pay attention to this part of it because this is not on the worksheet activity. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Let's get that back. So what I'm going to do now with this is, you know, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, you know, growing up, everything revolved around cars or spaceships or, you know, whatever. And so I was always doodling. So if I want you to imagine yourself when you were like 8 or whatever, or maybe your future self, and you look at this object and you just are bored. So what I would have done to something like this, and this is what I want you to do, I want you to maintain the integrity of this shape. So notice it's got this little ergonomic, this hook in there. It's almost like a V, and then the top. So try to keep this. But I'm going to go ahead and do something a little different on this. Jake, I've got to come up with something new because I think I'm doing the same thing every time. So I would see this little thing as maybe that would be my little cockpit here, right? And then I would see the back of this thing kind of doing something like this. And then I would see maybe something going like, all right, and then I would see a little pilot in there. Now I don't want you to necessarily draw this, but I want you to use your imagination and turn this into something different, all right, that maintains this kind of shape, something similar. But what you're going to have to do though is whatever you do here. So if I'm going to make this wacky shape here, anybody know what I've made here? Essentially, looks like some sort of,
A jet.
something like that, right? Some sort of helicopter. And I could spend a lot more time with this, and I want you to spend more time with it. But then whatever I do here, you know, and then you're gonna, you know, obviously I've got this is like a helicopter. I'm not gonna be able to draw everything, but you're gonna want to draw it in the corresponding view. So if I'm gonna draw this cockpit, right? And, you know, students draw birds and fish and, you know, you name it, whatever you want to draw, right? So that, but whatever you do, I want it to reflect. So you don't have to go crazy with the utility knife, all right? I basically want you to draw the overall shape, add some of the features, but then go ahead and morph it into something else. And so that is what you're going to be doing with this exercise. You're going to take this worksheet, you're going to essentially draw. You don't really have to get all the way to here, but you want to get about halfway through here. You want everything to line up properly. I should still be able to tell that what was kind of the inspiration for this. I mean, if you're drawing me a tiger, whatever, I should still be able to tell that there was a utility blade as the inspiration, right? So you're not like erasing the whole thing and starting over, but you're going to take this and turn it into something a little bit more that speaks to your soul. Jake, do you still have a soul after DVC for 3 years?
Intact, pretty well.
So we want to see your soul through this thing, or something that makes you a little bit more interested in this kind of a drawing, right? So then I'm going to draw this top view, and I'm really just sketching it, but I know I'm sketching. You don't want to go crazy with the sketching. You do want to make sure that things are lining up the best you can. So there's my little blade, and then it's got this center here, and so that's going to come. It's got to be centered. That goes all the way back to there. All right, so you just want to be including, and it's okay to erase. You can erase things as you go along here. So if I'm going to do that, then I have to draw this in the back, right? So I've got to draw all this stuff. So then I'm going to draw this that back, and I'm also going to need to draw this cockpit. Are there any questions about what I'm doing or why how did I even get through middle school if this is all I did, you know? How did that happen? But I did. Because I love to draw stuff. I just love to draw things and people and doodle. And so, you know, there's actually, Amanda, you can quote me on this. There's actually research that shows that people who are listening to lectures when they're doodling, their brain actually will take the information, and I can look at the drawing that I was doodling during that thing, and I can recall those kind of bland, boring lectures, what was going on by my drawing. It's actually kind of fascinating the way that the mind works. So doodling and drawing, I'm always in favor of it, even if you're in a lecture environment. That doesn't mean that your mind isn't engaged. It's just a way that some people process information. So it is amazing, though, that I did get through all that fun stuff, because it was not all that fun at the time. So let me continue this. So it's got this little, actually this is going to be maybe some wheels here, some tires for landing. It's probably going to have one in the back. I have no idea what that is. Joseph, does this bring back any memories, or are you okay?
Oh no, I'm good. I was electronics.
Yeah. Okay, so questions, comments? What at the end of the day I'm trying to do with this exercise is just keep reinforcing the whole concept of orthographic views, right? So we're just kind of reinforcing orthographic views, taking a, you know, kind of an object and making, and then I want you to label it. So this would be the front view. This would be the side view. And this would be the top view, right? So I want you to label that. So the reality is, this is the left side. And this is where a lot of you get confused, right? And so go back to that project we did with the, if you remember this, right? So that's why we start with this. If you get confused on what is the front side, and like Joe was a little confused, just go back to this, right? So that's the front view. So then this is the left side, even though it's showing the right, you know, those kind of things. Just refer back to that first exercise, and everything has to be able to unfold and fold, right? So if I'm folding this back, all right.
You push
so,
up a
yes.
little more because the projector buttons are hiding what.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is that you're seeing this thing?
I can't read the words on the bottom. They're covered
Okay,
by like the.
so you are seeing. Thank you. Move this over. All right,
Thank
so,
you.
yeah. All right. Okay, so that is the extent of what we're doing today. So we're finishing. You guys are going to finish these 3 exercises, and then you're going to take the utility knife. This is 6 inches, thereabouts. You could reposition this on your page. It doesn't have to be at the very bottom. I'm kind of squashed here, but you know, you could do something like this, and you can change the shape as you need. But we just want to see, you know, there should be this kind of hook in here somewhere. Okay, so let me ask you, who can I pick on? I can't pick on Jake anymore. Jake's mom called me. She was very upset. So I can't pick on Jake anymore. Jake, I'm sorry about that, buddy.
That is a true story. I had my mom call.
I had to publicly apologize to Jake. A heartfelt apology after teaching you for how many years? How many years have I taught you? 5?
47.
4 or 5 years. Because I taught Jake SolidWorks, had to be 5 years ago, Jake. Had to be. A long time ago. So Jake, his mom was like all upset. No, Jake's mom didn't call me. All right. So Jake is a grown-up man now. He doesn't need his mommy anymore. You always need your mommy. Who are you kidding? All right. So let's finish this up. Any questions? So then remember, so I've got this little what we're seeing here is a wheel. So if you were drawing a fish, you'd be drawing, the fins, but they'd all have to be in corresponding views. So it's really important that you guys are doing that. That all your views, everything has to be corresponding. That is the emphasis, and that's what we're doing here. We're having fun with it, hopefully, and we're seeing what you do. But it's got to have that sort of, okay.
I noticed on your left side you took out your blade, or you erased your blade.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. You can do that kind of stuff, all right?
So
Just try to keep the integrity of the whole object, though, okay? I mean, you can morph it into something. I think I even called them, I don't know if in the morph project, and then you will upload these into the discussion board, okay? So you can really make this anything you want, just so, we can kind of tell that there was, I can tell that the inspiration was from that utility blade. All right. Joseph, do you think there's anything else I need to explain about this project? Or do you think I got it covered?
I think
I think you got it.
straightforward.
Okay, all right. Okay, so, I could endlessly redesign this thing or whatever, but. All right. So I would eliminate this blade here. Maybe a little window there.
Does it have to keep the same shape as the blade?
So
or?
not really. Somewhat. So you can make anything you want. I just want us to be able to tell that you kind of started with that utility blade, and everybody should, like, in the back of your mind, be able to tell, that I just don't want you to draw something that is completely not based in this reality. All right. I want you to be bored with the utility knife, and I want your brain to just go in a whole nother place, because utility knives are bad.
Okay.
Okay. So I think that I have used your time amazingly well, all things considered. And I think my job is done here for the day. Would anybody disagree? Please don't make me do that another exercise today for you on the worksheet. So are we all good?
Yeah.
Any questions? All right, so let me just, a couple people came in late, just let me make sure I got you here. Let me stop this recording, by the way. Hang on, please. Stop the recording. I know I can do this. Okay, so